Hi everyone, how are you? Okay, dears, this is Rana Sir. Welcome to our RANA SIR educational channel. Today, I will talk on a topic whose name is vector analysis. Already, I have explained this topic of the some part, that is the type of the vectors. So remaining portion I will also clear, so you concentrate on this live video from starting to end. Develop your knowledge on this topic. Simultaneously, you like this live video, and also you share this live video with your colleagues, friends and students, so that they can also update their knowledge on this topic. Simultaneously, you also subscribe this educational channel more and more for getting good knowledge about the physics of about the class 11 physics and also class 9 physics. I will explain each and every topic in detail, and also I will give some numericals which are based on those topics. Okay, so your concept will be clear with the help of numerical and also with the help of theory. Okay, student, so you concentrate on this live video from starting to end. Now some additional informations I am also going to tell you. You follow it positively, properly and safely. First of all, you have to take one notebook and then one pen, and then you have to sit at your location properly, positively and safely, and you write all informations which are written on the blackboard, and also those data which are spoken by me. Those information will help in your life in detail. Okay, so you follow it positively. Now I am going to start this concept, the topic of the vector analysis. So here I will explain remaining topic of the type of the vectors. Okay, students, so you follow it positively. Now I am going to start it. Now my original heading is type of vectors. Types of vectors. In here I have to explain the point number 11, that is the polar vector. Polar vector. Here I will explain its meaning also in Hindi, that is Dhruvi Sadish. Dhruvi Sadish. I will explain its concept in detail. Okay, what is the concept of polar vector? Now here in this concept I will explain a vector which has initial point but there is no end point. That is called polar vector. In other words, we can say that if any vector we are taking, so that vector has the starting point but ending point is not available. So such type of vector is also called polar vector. So that concept is also written in Hindi as Dhruvi vector. Dhruvi vector. Okay, Dhruvi Sadish. Now here I am writing, if a vector which has starting point and there is no ending point, because there is no space to write right here. There is no ending point of the assumed vector. such type of vector is called polar vector. Such type of vector is called polar vector. So this is the required concept of the polar vector. I have already explained, that is I have already described. So polar vector is also has Hindi meaning ध्रुवीय सदिश. Now in polar vector already I have explained here a vector which has starting point, but that vector has no end point. So such type of vector I can say that is the polar vector. In other words, that is I will also translate these information in Hindi, so student who are reading in Hindi medium, so those student can also understand it in detail. Okay. Now I will also explain the concept of polar vector in also in English medium. Now here I am explaining it. So after explaining, so student who are reading in English medium or in CBSE board, those student can also understand this concept very easily. Okay students, so you follow it positively. Okay. So here I have written there is a vector and that vector has a starting point and that vector has no end point. So such type of vector as such vector is called the polar vector. So for example, I can write this is a vector in whose name I am saying vector A, but this vector has a starting point. This is the starting point because a vector which has one end point, a vector which has one end point and other is no end point, only that is tip, tip. So that vector I will say that is the polar vector. So here I can write POLAR, polar vector. So this is the required concept and I have to explain here in detail. Okay. So this is the concept of polar vector and I have explained here. So a vector which has only one end point, that vector has a starting point, but end point is not existing in the plane. So that vector is called polar vector, and in other words in Hindi I can say that is the ध्रुवीय सदिश. ओके. सो ध्रुवीय सदिश के बारे में अगर एक्सप्लेन करना है तो हम कहेंगे एक वेक्टर इस तरीके का है कि वह वेक्टर जो होता है प्रारंभिक बिंदु को रखता है, प्रारंभिक बिंदु को, इसको हम हिंदी में प्रारंभिक बिंदु कहते हैं और इंग्लिश में इनिशियल पॉइंट कहेंगे. इसको हिंदी में प्रारंभिक बिंदु और इंग्लिश में इनिशियल पॉइंट. प्रारंभिक बिंदु, इसको हम प्रारंभिक बिंदु कहेंगे और इंग्लिश में जो होता है इसको हम इनिशियल पॉइंट कहते हैं. इनिशियल पॉइंट करते हैं, इसको हम इनिशियल पॉइंट करते हैं. इस पॉइंट को इंग्लिश में इनिशियल पॉइंट करते हैं और हिंदी में जो होता है प्रारंभिक बिंदु करते हैं. तो एक ऐसा वेक्टर जो प्रारंभिक बिंदु को रखता है और अंतिम बिंदु को नहीं रखता है, इसका मतलब वो ठीक होता है. इसका मतलब होता है वो जो होता है फॉरवर्ड डायरेक्शन में प्रोसीड करता है. इसका मीनिंग यह हुआ इस टाइप के वेक्टर जितने भी वेक्टर होंगे उन सभी वेक्टरों को हम एक स्पेशल नाम देंगे. उस स्पेशल नाम को हम ध्रुवीय सदिश के नाम से जानेंगे और इंग्लिश में उसको पोलर वेक्टर के नाम से एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. ओके. सो दिस इज द रिक्वायर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ polar vector or ध्रुवीय सदिश. Means a vector which has one end point and other end point is not existing in the plane. So that vector is called polar vector. And here I have also draw its diagram because one end point I have written here प्रारंभिक बिंदु or in English I have written that initial point. But other and I will say that is the tip, but it is not stopping, it is proceeding. So such type of vector I will say that is the polar vector. Okay, if you are understanding very well, so you like this live video and also you share this live video with your colleagues, friends and students so that they can also update their knowledge on this topic. Simultaneously, you also subscribe this educational channel more and more for getting good knowledge about class 11 physics and also class 9 physics. Each and every topic of the physics of this class I will explain in detail. Okay, you follow it positively, properly and safely. Okay, now next topic I will also consider, that is the axial vector. Here I will explain that point, that is the axial vector. So positively I am erasing it, and after erasing I will explain next topic, that is the axial vector. The axial is also written in Hindi, that is axis, अक्षीय अक्ष. Here I will write that is the axial vector. That is also written in Hindi अक्षीय अक्ष. अक्षीय अक्ष. Its concept I will explain in detail. What is the concept of axial vector? So this is important. So student should know this concept, that is the axial vector are अक्षीय अक्ष. What is the concept? Here I will draw a rectangle box. Here I will draw a rectangle box, and then I will draw a circle within the rectangle box. Now I will draw a line, and that line is also moving along this. And I will say this is the circle moving along the anti-clockwise. So here I will write anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise direction. Direction I will also write here, direction. So this is the information of axial vector. So if any data it is moving in anti-clockwise direction, so each direction will be equal, and so this on this direction I will say that is the axial axis. Along this axis, this circle is rotating, that is in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction, that is the Vamakot direction, that is written in Hindi Vamavarti disha. Vamavarti disha. Okay. So this is the anti-clockwise direction, and it is written in Hindi, that is Vamavarti disha. And this is the axial axis, that is the अक्षीय, that is written in Hindi, that is axial stands for अक्षीय, axis stands for अक्ष. So I write here अक्षीय अक्ष, अक्षीय अक्ष. So each and every student has to focus on this point, and each and every student has to understand it clearly, because this is the axial vector, and it is also written in Hindi, that is axial box. Now here I have taken a rectangle box. Now in this box I have drawn a circle. Now this circle is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, that is I have written here anti-clockwise direction, that is also written in Hindi Vamavarti disha. So it is moving in anti-clockwise direction, so its direction will be along this. That is, I will say this is the axial axis. This is the axial axis, and that is also written in Hindi akshiya aksh. Similarly, I will take another rectangle, and I will draw also a circle. But in this circle, the direction of the wave will be in clockwise direction. Here I will say that is the plus. Here O C A W I S clockwise direction. That is written in short of DIR of direction. So I will say its direction is anti-clockwise direction. So axial axis will be downward. So here I will write axial axis. Axial axis. That is axial axis will be downside. Now here will be the rotatory axis. Rotation. Yeah, in other words, I can also write rotation axis. This is the rotation axis. That is the rotation axis, or that is written in Hindi Guran. That is the Guran means that is rotation. Axis is x. X is axis. Okay. So if any vector which is moving in anti-clockwise direction, so axial axis will be above from the figure, and if the circle is moving along the clockwise direction, so its axial axis will be downward. So I will say, so such type of concept is known as axial vector or axial axis that is rotating along the x. So this will be also rotation axis. Similarly, this is also rotation axis. Now here the path is moving along anti-clockwise direction. So its axis will be along the axial axis, and here will be downward. That is the axial axis, that is written in Hindi axial axis. Okay, this is the required concept, and this concept we have to know clearly to explain all the information regarding the axial axis. Okay, now all the information I will also explain in Hindi. So each and every students who are reading in Hindi medium, that is in UP board, those students can also understand about the concept of axial vector. Okay, so first of all, here there is no space, so I will erase it, and after erasing I will write its definition, and then we will draw its diagram also. So after that we will also explain those information in Hindi, so students who are reading Hindi medium, that is in UP board, those students can also understand it clearly. Okay, if you are understanding, students who are reading in English medium, that is in CBSE board, those students are understanding it in detail. So you like this video, and also you subscribe this educational channel more and more with your colleagues, friends and students, so that they can also improve their knowledge on this topic by sharing with you. Okay, so now I am going to erase the detailed diagram, and then I will give its definition in detail. So positively I am going to erase it. Now further I will write here information will be as if any particle which is moving along anti-clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction, clockwise direction, then axial vector will be upward. Then axial vector will be upward. and vice versa, and rotation will be downward and rotation axis and rotation axis will be downward, and vice versa, and I will write here vice versa. So this is the required concept because here I have vector explain if any particle which is moving in anti-clockwise direction, so the direction of the axial vector will be upward, but if particle will move along the clockwise direction, so in this case direction of the axial vector will be downward, but rotation will be opposite. So down axial vector will be downward, so opposite will be rotation axis, that is rotating axis, that is rotation axis. So here I am written here one statement, that is the vice versa. It is giving vice versa. It means that axial axis will be upward, so axial vector will be downward. Vice versa, I am saying that is leading in opposite direction. Okay, so its diagram I am going to also draw. Suppose that here I am drawing one rectangle box and here I am drawing a circle. Now here the particle which is moving on the circle in anti-clockwise direction, so its direction will be upward, that is the axial vector, and rotation will be rotation axis will be rotation R, rotation axis RA, rotation axis will be downward. Okay, so this is the required concept because this here I can write the anti-clockwise direction, that is gamma over here, this side, and in other figure I can also draw, that is the concept of vice versa. Now here I have draw a circle and this circle is moving in clockwise direction. So after moving clockwise direction, so I will say its axial vector will be downward, but its rotation axis will be upward. Therefore I am saying this is the vice versa. Okay, vice versa. So this is the required concept, and this concept each and every student has to know in detail. Okay students, if you have any doubt or any confusion, so you write your doubt in the comment section positively. I will look your comment and then I will simplify that it. I will resolve your positive information which is available on this topic, and then I will reply its solution clearly. Okay, if you are understanding the given topic clearly, so you like this live video and also you share this live video with your colleagues, friends and students, so that they can also update and develop their knowledge on this topic. Topic name is the axial vector. If any particle which is moving in clockwise direction, so its axial vector will be upward from the given point. And if the particle which is moving in the circle but in the clockwise direction, so in this case I will say that axial vector will be downward, but the rotation axis will be upward. Okay, this is the information, and each and every student has to know this information clearly. So now I am going to translate this information in Hindi also, so each student can understand clearly. Axial vector means होता है अक्षीय अक्ष। अगर कोई भी पार्टिकल मतलब होता है कोई भी कण, कोई भी वस्तु, जब कोई भी वस्तु एक वृत्त पर मूव करता है, वृत्त पर वामावर्त डायरेक्शन में मूव करता है, तो उस केस में जो अक्षीय अक्ष होता है, अक्षीय अक्ष की जो दिशा होती है वो ऊपर की तरफ होती है, और जो रोटेशन घूर्णन अक्ष के जो दिशा होती है वो डाउनवर्ड होता है। इसी तरीके से वाइस वर्सा कर सकता है कि अगर किसी भी वृत्त में पार्टिकल जो होता है, कण जो होता है, वस्तु जो होता है, क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में मतलब दक्षिणावर्त होती है, दक्षिणावर्ती मूव करता है, तो उस केस में जो होता है जो अक्षीय अक्ष होता है उसकी दिशा जो होता है अपवर्ड होता है, नीचे की तरफ होता है, और रोटेशन एक्सिस की जो दिशा होती है, एक्स की दिशा होती है वो अपवर्ड होता है। वही इंफॉर्मेशन को यहाँ पर डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन किया, वाइस वर्सा का मीनिंग किया होता है। इसमें एक इंफॉर्मेशन इसके जस्ट अपोजिट होता है, यहाँ पे इंफॉर्मेशन लिखा गया है, उसी की जगह पर वाइस वर्सा एक्सप्लेन किया गया है। एक ने पॉजिटिव लेते हैं तो दूसरे में नेगेटिव, दूसरे में पॉजिटिव तो पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव। इस कंसेप्ट को क्या करते हैं हम वाइस वर्सा पे हासिल करते हैं। ओके स्टूडेंट, सो यू आर नोइंग वेरी वेल दिस कंसेप्ट, सो therefore you like this live video and also you share this live video with your colleagues, friends and students so that they can also update and develop their knowledge on this topic positively and safely. And also you subscribe this educational channel more and more for getting good knowledge about the class 11 and class 9. Okay, so each and every topic I will explain clearly, so you will have good knowledge about the concept of physics. So physics is just imagination of the things which are available in the environment. Okay, that is available in the nature. So positively you have to follow it and you have to imagine and you have to apply the all procedure which are existing in the physics. Okay, so now here I am going to erase this concept, and after erasing this concept, next topic I will also start to explain. Okay, so positively I am going to erase this concept, and next topic of the type of vectors I will explain, so that each and every information you have to know in detail, because type of vector already I have explained with you. There are 14 types of vectors, so 12 types of vector already I have explained. Remaining two vectors I will also explain, so each and every concept will be understood in detail. Okay, now next vector I will explain, that is the vector number 13, and its concept is free vector. Free vector. What is the concept of free vector? Here I will explain. Free vector. Free vector. I will explain the concept of free vector. Now in the case of the free vector, I will also explain free vector, a vector which has no starting point, that is called free vector. For example, I can say that is the displacement, that is the velocity, that is the force, that is the impulses. So these are the concept, that is the momentum. Momentum is also a vector quantity, therefore I will also say that is the free vector. Free vector means a vector which has no starting point, that is called free vector. Here I will explain this concept. A vector which has no starting point. Such vector is called free vector. For example, I can write here. For example, of free vector, that is the displacement. Here I am write displacement. This displacement, velocity, and I can write force, etc. That is stood for etc. Now free vector. In the case of free vector, I will say a vector which has no starting point, but that has no end point also. Such type of vector is called free vector. Now, for example, we can say that displacement. Now, displacement that has a starting and end point, but there is a fixed direction. Now, according to requirement, according to requirement that has no a starting point. In other words, we can say that velocity of the information that can be changed. So here I can remove displacement after also, that will be only velocity. Here I will say, now here I will say a vector that has velocity, sometime that velocity is starting from here, sometime that velocity will start from here, sometime that velocity is starting from here. It means that there is no starting point, it means that a vector which has no starting point and that has also no end point, that is called free vector. For example, we can say that velocity, because in the case of velocity, a particle which is starting from 20 km/h, it means that particle has some velocity before the given time interval. When at the given time interval I have considered 20 km/h, but before time interval I will also get some velocities. Therefore, I will say a vector which has no starting point. So that vector is called free vector. So this is the required concept, and this concept you have to know in here. Okay. After that, after explaining, I will also explain the concept of localized vector. So this is the also important point. Localized vector, that is the 14 types of vector. I have already explained the remaining some concept of the type of vector, but last vector is the localized vector. So what is the concept of localized vector? It means that a vector which has a starting point but that has no ending point. In other words, we can say that has only t. So such type of vector I will say that is the localized vector. So that concept I will also explain. Now this concept I am going to place first to explain. Next concept of the type of vector, that is the point number 14. That is the localized vector. In this case, I will define a vector which has only starting point and there is no end point. That vector is called localized vector. In other words, I can define a vector which has no starting point, but also no have end point. That vector is called, such vector is known as localized vector. For example, I can write here. For example, I will write here velocity. Here I will write etc. So here localized vector is very easy because a vector simply I will draw a vector and that vector has no static point. In other words, I will say that starting point is changing because any velocity which is starting from a point, but that point is changing with respect to the requirement. So starting velocity, that is the starting velocity, is also called that is the initial velocity, and it is also written in Hindi, that is the prarambhik rate. And similarly, if I will get that particle is moving from point A to B, so its velocity will change. After changing, that velocity will be V, and that is also known as final velocity, in Hindi that is written as antim value. Okay, so within that time interval I will divide with time, so I will get a value, and that is the value of acceleration. So the concept of acceleration is such that the rate of change per unit time is called acceleration, and its unit value meter per second square. And so this is the required concept of acceleration. So those information will also lie when the velocity is available. So that such type of vector I will say that is the localized vector. So I know each and every concept of the type of vector I have already explained with you. Now I will also apply the arithmetic concept on the vector. That is the summation, that is the sum of the vector, या addition of the vector, या subtraction of the vector. All the concept I will explain one by one. So you concentrate on this slide video, and I will take some example. After taking some example, I will explain it in detail, because when I was explaining the concept of displacement vector, so I have already considered there are two vectors which are initial vector. So after taking the concept of, after using the concept of triangle method, so I have got the value of hypotenuse which is equal to the sum of remaining two sides of the vector. So after using the real concept of the triangle, so I have got the value of position vector. So position vector is also a value. So we have to take the distance between the position point. So I will take the magnitude. After taking magnitude, I will get a distance between two given vector. So from the given point to given point, from one point to another point. So if time is also calculated, that object is moving from point A to B. So I will divide with that time interval. So I will get a value, and that value will be the speed of the required portion. So those portion I have already explained with you. Now some portion I will take here, I will explain with you, so that I will explain the concept of some of two vectors. There are difference of two vectors, so those concepts I can also include there. Okay, so if for it was to be, so was to be, and erase the explained information, and then I will start how we have to get the concept of position vector. So first of all, I will take some example. I will define it, and after defining, I will also explain the concept of sum of vectors. So here I am going to draw a axis which is parallel to the y-axis, and the axis which is parallel to the ground axis, that is the horizontal axis, that is called the x-axis. Now a line I have drawn on the perpendicular to the x-axis. So intersection point I will say origin and its coordinate will be 0, 0. So here I will say this is the x-axis. Now here I will take two position vector. One vector I am going to say here A, and its point is A. Now another vector I am also taking here position vector B, and its point will be as I am considering B. Now when a particle which is moving from A to B, so that time is taken here 5 seconds. Now this position vector A is also given here. I am saying vector A is equal to 2 vector I cap plus vector I cap plus 2 vector j cap, because here cap I am using, that is the image vector. Now here minus a and k cap. Similarly, I will take vector b. So vector b which is equal to minus 2 vector I cap minus 5 vector j cap plus 8 vector k cap. Okay, this is the position vector. Now position vector I can write here OA, that is starting from 2 to A, OA and OB. So similarly I can write here OB. So I will use here triangle method. So this triangle is going around this and also around this and this. So I put in that is OB side which is equal to OA side and then AB side. OA and OB I will say that is the position vector, but AB is the displacement vector. So the value of OB vector I know and OA vector I also know. So we will get a constant vector AB. So vector AB I have to write it like this. So that is the right hand side data and this is the left hand side data. So all right hand side data I will put in the left hand side and all left hand side data I will put in the right hand side. There it will be no change in my equation. So we can write here OA vector OA plus vector AB which is equal to vector OB. So I have written here. Okay, so here I will write vector AB which is equal to vector OB minus vector OB. So vector OB I know here minus 2 vector I cap minus 5 vector j cap plus 9 vector k cap. Similarly vector OB I know. So I will put here and after putting I will simplify. After simplification I will get the value of vector AB and that is also known as position vector. So here I will write this is the position vector position vector. So here I will write this is the position vector. AB is the position vector. Now I will also consider what is the velocity, what is the speed from point A to B. So speed is also known as distance divided by time. So vector AB I will know, so I will take its magnitude. So I will take the distance from the point A to B, and time is also given 5 seconds. So that in the given distance, in the obtained distance I will divide it by 5. So I will take a value and that value will be the speed of the required portion. Okay, so here data which is not necessary I will positively remove and the required data I will preserve here. After preserving I will put the information in value, that is in equation number 1, and then I will take the value of position vector, that is AB. So in the place of OB vector I will write simply minus 2 vector I cap minus 5 vector j cap plus 8 vector k cap. Now minus sign is given, so I will put the minus sign and in the bracket I will write 3 vector I cap plus 2 vector j cap, and after that vector j cap and then I will write minus vector k cap. Now so then data I will place for the calculation. So here I will say, so I will write same 2 vector I cap minus 5 vector j cap and plus 8 vector k cap. Now this minus sign is multiplied with this term and also this term. So plus and minus that will be minus. So here I will put minus 3 vector I cap. This is plus and this is minus, this will be minus 2 vector j cap. This is minus and this is minus, that will be plus. So that will be vector k cap. Okay, so this is the vector I have written. So above that there is no need to write EDC and after EDC. I will simplify the given data. Now here I will write vector AB, that is the displacement vector. So here the coefficient of I vector I will summarize it. Here I will write minus 2 and here coefficient is minus 3. Again I will put plus vector j pad and in the bracket here coefficient of j is plus minus 5 and here is minus 2. Again I will here vector a pad and then here is coefficient a and here is coefficient 1. So I will have like this. Okay. So final after this simplification I will write simplify I can write minus 3 minus 2 minus 5 vector I pad and here minus 7 vector j pad. That is minus 5 minus 2 vector minus 7 and then plus 1 minus 8 vector 8 pad. This is the displacement vector. So I will write here clearly this is the displacement vector. This here A C E here we have the displacement vector from A to B. Okay, this is the displacement. If you are understanding this live video in clear, so you like this live video and also you share this live video with your colleagues, friends and students so that they can also update their knowledge on this topic. Simultaneously, you also subscribe this education channel and for getting concept of each and every topic updated. Okay, so here I have taken one position vector 1 and 2 position vector. I have also got the displacement vector. Now we have to also find the speed with any object which is moving by any particle which is moving from point A to B. So what will be the speed? So displacement vector I have got, so we have to take the length from the point A to B. So that length can be obtained by using the modulus sign. Okay. So further I will take modulus sign for taking the distance. After taking the distance I will use time and after taking time then I will take the speed. So here I am going to take this is the I will write magnitude, that is modulus of AB. So here I can also write minus 5 vector I pad minus 7 vector j pad plus 8 vector j pad. This modulus and I will take. So after taking this modulus and I will put here in the square. Here I will write coefficient of vector I pad square plus coefficient of minus plus j pad square plus coefficient of a pad square. So coefficient of a pad square. So I will simplify the value of here minus 5 square. Its value will be minus 5 into minus 5 because here 2 is available, so 1 4 is here, 1 4 is 1 plus 2 4. So minus minus that will be plus 5 into 5 that is 25. So I can write here 25. Similarly here I can write in 7 59. So here I write 59. Similarly here I can write 8 into 8 that is 60. Now I will take its summation. Now in the left hand side I have to write of the vector will be okay because it will be positive sign. Now here I will add 25 plus 49 and plus 64. So here I will say no function here. 18 5 9 plus 4 40 plus 4 18 8 carry will be 1. So 2 plus 4 6 6 12 plus 1 13. So here I will write 138. So this is the value. and that is also calculated in meter. So its unit is meter. So I will say its unit is meter. So that point I will write here. That point I will write that is meter. Okay. So length of AB. So length of AB I have considered 138 meter. That is the level. Distance AB. Distance AB, yeah, models of AB, that is 138. Now I have to get the speed. The speed is also calculated. The speed is equal to distance upon time. Distance upon time. Distance I have calculated here 138 square 138 divided by time is given here 5 seconds. So 5 seconds. Distance is also calculated in meter and time is calculated in centimeter. So the speed is equal to speed. The speed is equal to what the square root of 138 meter divided by 5. So this is the required answer of my question. Okay. So you have to follow the question for solving by taking the displacement, the value of displacement vector in the data form, and also you have to calculate the speed any object is moving from point A to P, B and P to Q. So that is the required concept and you have to follow it positively. Okay, student. So type of vector and position vector and position vector and displacement vector I have already defined. Next concept I will also explain how if two vectors are given, so how we will take its summation, how we will take its difference, and how we will get the angle between these two vectors, and those information I will actually explain. Okay, if you are understanding this information in detail, so you like this slide video and also you share this slide video with your colleagues, friends and students so that they can also update their knowledge on this topic. Okay. So topic name is type of vectors. Already I have explained each and every topic. Okay. Now, if you have any doubt, yeah, if you have any queries, so you write positively which are available in this topic, and then you write your information in the comment section and then send. And then I will also read positively, and after reading positively, I will give the answer of your question in detail. Okay, student. So all information will be positively. Okay. Now next time, thank you for watching this live video, and next time I will also meet you on the same time, that is 30 minutes past to 7 p.m. to 30 minutes past to 8 p.m. That is the important time slot, and this is the free online coaching classes and for post. If any student who is missing any class, so those students need to go in my this section, and then those students can read in detail from there. Okay, student. If you have any doubts, please write to your information section positively. I will resolve your information that is your issue. If you are asking about the concept of type of vectors, yeah, about the vector analysis in detail. Okay, student. So further I am going to discuss communication with you. Now further you will follow the same time slot for this is the free online coaching classes, and you have to take the advantage of it. Okay. So thank you dear audience. Jai Hind, Rana Sir.